Hello everybody, my name is Jett Allen, and I'm here to talk to you about the legalization of sports betting in Texas. Okay, let's start out with a question. Have you ever been scratching that lottery ticket and you think you're gonna win and you're scratching that with your lucky penny and you're thinking about all the expensive things you're gonna buy? Well, that's like an actual feeling, and people can get very addicted to that feeling. And most people that have won a lot of money gambling, they're insanely addicted to that feeling. And this is, whenever sports betting comes into Texas, it's going to open up so many windows for these types of people to either win or lose a lot of money. So that's why it's my controversial topic, is because I have so many friends. I have the type of friends that are going to win a bunch of money, and I have the same type of friends that are going to lose a bunch of money. And this is actually coming to Texas. In fact, in 2019, it was a bill that never made it out of the House. And then in 2020, there's COVID, so you don't really count that year. But in 2021, it's coming back, and they're trying to pass it again. And in fact, 22 states have actually already legalized it. So it's coming. It's headed our way. Okay, let's talk about the pros. Excuse me. Let me say my specific purpose statement. My specific purpose is to inform my audience of the many pros and cons that come with the legalization of sports betting. And I'm qualified to do this because I've done extensive research. Okay, now let's get to the pros. Pro number one, more money. You can't put money in the cons section because nobody's going to. More money is coming this way with sports betting. There's going to be so many websites, there's going to be so many legal bookies that are going to be in restaurants, bars. It's kind of like Vegas, where you can walk up, put money in a machine, pick your team, pick your odds. I mean, those are going to be everywhere. And if you know anybody that owns a restaurant or a bar, they're getting a percentage of that money. You just can't put the making of money in a con section. So we got to put that as a pro. Now let me read you this quote. They could allow professional sports venues to operate as sports books. Before I continue, a sports book is kind of where it shows you the odds, it shows you what you're betting on, what your options are to bet on, stuff like that. And many sports books would be lined up to begin in operations in Texas as soon as the bill passes. It's like people are just waiting to come into the state and just, because they know people in Texas like to gamble. It's not a secret, it's coming. And they're ready for it, and it's going to be here soon. Okay, let me go on to pro number two. There already is illegal gambling in Texas, and we just can't be ignorant and act like there's not illegal gambling in Texas. It's everywhere. Let's be honest. It may not be, the old man on the end of the street anymore, but now on the internet, you can pretty much find whatever you want, and there's no telling how many illegal websites of gambling there are on the internet in total. Let me read you this quote, in fact. Another case recently, the federal government charged 57 individuals with operating an illegal gambling business. The money laundering in connection with their Panama-based sportsbook. This comes from the American Gaming Association. 57 employees were arrested. I know what you're thinking. 57 people. That's not a lot of gambling going on. No, these are employees. These people are getting so much bets that they have 57 people counting their money, releasing the odds. I mean, I'm no genius on money, but if you have to have 57 people to count it, you probably have a lot. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. Pro number three. It involves skill. This is probably my favorite pro because I'm a pretty big football fan, and I think I have it all figured out. And you know what? I'd rather spend $20 on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who is my favorite team, than spend $20 on a lottery ticket. That may just be me, but to me, lottery tickets are just percentage and absolute luck. And those are two things I have yet to figure out how to bet on. But when sports betting comes, I'm gonna feel much more confident in my $20 where I put it. And that might just be my opinion, but let me read you this quote and maybe it'll change your mind. Sorry, I lost it. Oh, it is a game of skill. With the right knowledge and experience, you can gain advantage over other players, similar to poker. We're not saying that it's not a form of gambling. It's the fact that it has enough knowledge and wit where you can actually get ahead of others. This comes from Richard Johnson from Sports Betting. And, I completely agree with him. And, I really think in sports betting, I think everybody would rather spend money on football. We all have that one family member who's probably going to throw his paycheck on the Dallas Cowboys, But at least he's confident in his pick. He's not just scratching with a penny, thinking he's going to win. And I couldn't agree more. Let's move on to the cons. First con, it's obvious. It's against our morals. Gambling, it just kind of ruins the ethics of sports that we all learned as kids. We went through and we learned everything, and it taught us about life. And let me read you this quote, because I agree with it. As early as the 1920s, sports betting came into play where gangsters during the Prohibition could swing games. It just takes away the whole point of sports, which it's to strive to win, give your best effort, participate with your friends. And when betting comes into play, everything kind of gets sketchy. I don't know, there's just, people will do a lot of things for a lot of money, and then it's just gonna change the way sports are played, in my opinion. And I hope it doesn't, but, we'll have to see. Let's move on to my last con. It's gonna hurt people with addictive tendencies and gambling problems. We all know the guy that goes in to buy lottery tickets every day, and if you give him the window of sports betting, who knows what that man's gonna spend his money on. And we hope he doesn't, but it's probably gonna happen. And we can't be naive to think that we can't be naive enough to think that they're not going to take full advantage of the new opportunities, and they're probably going to think they have it all figured out, just like they probably think they have the lottery figured out, but they don't. And it is going to hurt a lot of people. And that's probably the biggest con, is just we all just know people that it's just going to hurt their financial situations. And let me read you this quote. It feeds from a certain type of people who struggle with addiction. It feeds folks for whom this isn't being responsible, but they're the harmless. They're the ones in harm, says Michael Braum from TheRinger.com. And, I completely agree with him. And, it's just something we need to look out for. So I hope that my pros and cons gave you good insight to both sides of the story. I hope you can be smart in your decision. I hope you can make up your minds on if you're going to participate, or if maybe one day you might vote on it. Who knows what's coming, but it is coming, and I think we should all be ready. Thank you.